Square, circle, rants. Oh my God.
Hey guys, Mr. Awesome RC Gade here with always
Debonair Douglas.
And this is kind of going to be a sad episode in a way. Definitely upset. I might get angry. I'm still processing. And you know what I'm talking about. Actually, and before we get into that, just real quick, I had notes about Stone Cold Steve Austin interview with Chris Jericho, this year's Raw After Mania, and you know the fact that we have now wrestling on major networks 5 days a week. Yes, that includes Impact. However, we're essentially gonna talk about what happened yesterday. Everybody's talking about it. We're no different. The unfortunate releases, and a year to the day, I think that adds an extra emotion.
It was the same day.
Yeah, I'm saying a year to the day, like the anniversary, and we're doing it again.
Taxes are due. Time to get rid of some people. I mean, that's what it sounds like to me. So it looks
and of course, both of us on the Squared Circle Rants Facebook page, we're sharing more releases that kept happening. We were talking about it. I wanted to make just one episode about this because it's not as much as last year, but still bad. That here we are again, letting go. All these superstars, they each have their own unique things about them, why we love them, why they deserve to be pushed more. I'll go through the names real quick, and then we'll talk about them one by one. That is Mickie James, Billie Kay, Peyton Royce, Mojo Rawley, Chelsea Green, Wesley Blake, Tucker, Bo Dallas, Kalisto, and Samoa Joe. All let go. Some of these people we haven't seen in months or a year or years. Some of these people we just saw at WrestleMania, which was an episode we did earlier. Please be sure to check that out. My instant reaction, and I'm going to say it here, what the fuck? Seriously.
I think that was my reaction too. Like, bro, what the fuck?
I think that was their collective.
First it was
sigh.
like Mickie James and Billie Kay. I'm like, fuck, are you kidding me? Like, Mickie James, like, you know, one of the greatest women's champions of all time. Like, you have nothing for her. You could not use her to put other women over. Hello, or even give her the belt while she was with your company for 6 years. But
and they had her on Legends Night. They didn't say, oh, she's an active wrestler. They had her as a legend. And now to do this?
No, she is a legend.
She is. Oh, yeah, definitely. She deserved. And, of course, let's go to, I'm going to lump them together, but they're both special. Billie Kay, Peyton Royce. The reason I lump them together is because they split them up. That was another what the hell at the time. And okay, they were finding themselves as single stars. And then just to let go of them. It was like he was just playing, Vince McMahon playing with his toys. I don't like this anymore.
No, well, I think there was a lot of political involvement because I know Kevin Dunn had a lot against Billie Kay. He didn't see it a lot in Billie Kay. And Kevin Dunn is pretty much Vince's go-to guy, his whisperer. He goes into Vince's ear and maybe puts a tongue in there. I don't know what the fuck he does. But, it sits there all, we don't really have anything for her. And this is the report that I read, a reliable source, that Kevin Dunn was one of the reasons why Billie Kay got let go. Which is, and you would have to give me a whole hour to express my feelings of why Kevin Dunn still has a job.
Yeah.
And it would be rated R due to language.
Yeah.
I think I'd say the F word every single word, every other word.
But of course, we're here to talk about these superstars. One I'm even more sad about, Chelsea Green. Wasn't she still on the injured list?
She was coming back from a wrist injury. She was injury prone for her wrist. I mean, this isn't the first time she broke her wrist. They had a debut set up for her, and then she got injured, and that lost her momentum. And because of her being injury prone,
WWE
it's like Samoa Joe. They didn't want to invest any more time in her and let her go.
Yeah.
It didn't help that she was Zack Ryder's fiance, and that I can't confirm, but I'm sure that had some play, because Zack Ryder is very vocal on Instagram and Twitter about, still pretty bitter about his WWE release that happened a year ago.
Oh yeah, and he, just like some of these people, was someone that wasn't used all that much or properly, and that actually brings me to Mojo. Now I'll let you go off on it. You disagree with me on this. Mojo, I won't say was the greatest wrestler, but he was getting better. And then the moment he got to the main roster, well, not the moment, he had some success with Zack Ryder, but he just seemed like another guy who was getting better, in my opinion. And then they just didn't use him. Like, they would try something and go, well, forget it.
I hated his creative direction from the beginning. I hated it. I thought it was stupid. Oh, hype, bro, hype. I was like, that's not you, man. I see him as more like an ass kicker. He could have been like that. He could have been like one of those silent, kick-assers, ass kickers that come by, and they could have played a little bit differently instead of like the hype guy. Like, he was almost like a. To me, he was almost like if he was part of the. Like he was like a cheerleader, male cheerleader almost, like get hyped. He was a hype guy, like he was a mascot. It's like, I was automatically turned off by his character, even when he was in NXT. And then he kind of did that, turn with the mental situation and stuff like that, but people couldn't really take him seriously after that. If he would have started with that gimmick in the beginning, we probably wouldn't be talking about right now about him being released. I'm sure he would have been a big star. But I mean, I'm not saying he's not a star. I'm just saying that creatively he got the broomstick. I just don't think he
did good with it.
I just don't think WWE did a really great job with him creatively, and he did what he could with it. But I mean, to me, I was never really a fan of his work.
Well, yeah, and I'm not gonna say, oh, he could have been the greatest. But they didn't even let him fail, in a sense. Like, they gave him this new character. He did it just a little bit here and there, and then it was done. And then you saw him pop up once in a while, but they didn't let it, like, progress to, like, oh, hey, we want to know what the fans think. We didn't get that far. We just saw little bits and pieces. So to me, say a movie, you watch the whole movie and go, I didn't like that.
If
they didn't get that far.
Here's the thing, okay? NXT UK is mainly for UK stars, okay? I get that, but why not put like one American guy on there as like a kind of a heel?
Well, yeah, like they did
kind of
with
like a I think Mojo, if they would have put on NXT UK, it's like more like, well, what's this American guy doing? You're trying to feed off the get the NXT UK title and stuff. I think that would have been interesting if they would have just like, we're going to put you against Walter and, see how that goes. And I think that would have been interesting. I think that would have been an interesting move. But of course, they just let him collect us on the main roster and lost momentum. And it was just, I don't know.
Well, and they did that with Cassius Ohno, and I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Him playing the, oh, I know UK wrestling better than you do. And he did it one. But yeah, what they could have done with Mojo being, well, yeah, he instantly could have got heat. I'm American.
Right.
Boo.
Right. And so, with Cassius Ohno, I mean, God, he was good on the mic. He had a great wrestling ability. The only reason why he got let go because Vince didn't like the way he looked physically.
And I hate that.
And and I hate to put it out there, but I mean, if Triple H was running the show, Cassius Ohno would be on the main roster and doing really well for himself personally. That's my opinion.
Oh yeah.
But,
well, that seems to be. I'll just say it real quick because we'll rant about it later. There's a fear that when someone goes from NXT to Raw or SmackDown, 90 or 95% of the time, you're scared of what they're going to do. Because heck, if Vince likes you, he will shoot you to the moon. And even if the fans hate it, look at Roman Reigns. Before the Roman Reigns we have now. Always a great wrestler. Always there, always on top. But fans didn't want him. And Vince just kept pushing. But if he doesn't like you, it's obvious what they do to you. Actually, speaking of a guy from NXT who I thought, all of these people should have got better chances, I'm sorry. Wesley Blake, this was a sad one because he had a great team with Buddy Murphy and Alexa Bliss. Of course, they had, they had to split up in a way, I guess. Wesley got Buddy Murphy got a little better success, although he's now floundering on TV. Then Wesley found another team years later, because and even actually, even though I love NXT, I give them a lot of credit. I'm biased because of that. Wesley was something that went through the cracks of being in NXT. There's some wrestlers that NXT, I will say, let run through the cracks, and then we don't really, I'll give that, but it was just sad. Then he found another group with the Forgotten Sons. They did good in NXT. I liked it. And then, of course, due to politics, when they got to the quote-unquote main roster, they were torn apart. And then,
actual, American politics, not backstage politics.
Well, a little bit.
Well, maybe a little bit of both.
A little bit of both on that. I won't get into that now. This is about them. But so then it was Cutler and him teamed. They were the Knights for Corbin. And then, of course, we hear Cutler got let go. And then poor Wesley, never shown again. And then now he's a part of this list.
I always consider Wesley a great technical wrestler, and you can't take that away from him. I don't think he ever really got a chance to get on the microphone to really build his character. I think he was always like to me personally, he was like that, third wheel, all these dudes got dates, but he's sitting there by himself in the corner. He had the potential to be something big, but just no one saw anything in him. I'm sure he saw something in himself, but
which is
of course,
sad.
Politics and in the wrestling business didn't allow that. I hope that by letting him go, that I would really like to see him go to MLW or ROH to really start building a character. I think him going to ROH or MLW, not AEW, not Impact. Jesus Christ, we enough people there already. Him going to MLW or ROH would be awesome, because I think he could really start building a character and really find out really who he is, and he can, hopefully come back and be a huge star like Drew did.
Yeah, and speaking, actually, teams being split up, I'm not going to lump them together only in this subject of teams being split apart, like Wesley, Tucker, and then, of course, Kalisto, which, I don't know, the Lucha House Party, I didn't mind so much being split. I thought it was time. They, of course, were kind of lazy on the storyline. Didn't really finish it. Tucker and Otis, though, being split was a huge what the hell moment at the time, and we've talked about it before. Yeah. And Tucker, now a little bit of bias again, Oregon boy.
Right.
I love Tucker. I remember seeing him live in Portland. Got one of the hugest pops I've ever heard in my life. And the more I saw him wrestle, it's not just because of the hometown love. There was something about him.
And there still is something about him.
Yeah.
And, you know, I knew as soon as he turned on Otis, his career was WWE was over. I knew
it was sad.
I knew exactly what was going to happen. They were going to job him out and they were going to put him on the shelf, and that's exactly what they did. Perfect. Okay, great. And you know, even Tucker said, "I'm free" on his Twitter page.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, "I'm free." Okay, cool.
And also, did you notice the other one? He said, "I can't wait to tell my story." I cannot wait either. I want to hear what the hell.
Cool. I mean, I want to hear it. I mean, I'm a fan. I'm a fan of Tucker, guys. You know, I mean, he's from Hubbard, Oregon, which is near Canby, and you know, then he went to Arizona State and was a kick-ass Greco-Roman wrestler. And you know, and I think he also played football, and then went got called up for WWE. He's another guy who I would really like for him to go to MLW or ROH and be that really badass face, big guy that could really, you know, go up against guys like, excuse me, like the MLW champion, like him and Tucker going at it, or for instance, you know, him or Shane Taylor in ROH, something like that. I mean, there's opportunity there.
Oh, yeah.
He goes to Impact or AEW, there's not going to be a lot of opportunity there for him because there's just so many huge stars there. He needs to go back from square one.
Yeah,
and build that and build. If he has a story to tell, great. Let us know and build that into your character and come back better than ever.
Oh yeah, and I've said in the past that now, yeah, he was a mid-carder. That's what he got up to.
I've seen mid-carders.
He could have got.
I've seen mid-carders get the shaft and come back and being huge stars.
Oh yeah, he has the talent. Was getting better on the mic, getting better in the ring. No offense to Otis. Otis is doing pretty good, but he's getting lost in the shuffle as well. But no, there's something to Tucker, not just hometown love, but you wanted to see more of him. And what he did in the ring, even turning heel, granted his little botch. Yeah, I don't know if you noticed that. They brought it up in Botchamania. He had his lines on a paper that he kind of tried to put in his pocket, and then they got knocked out. But aside from that, you know, you could have pushed him, gave him time.
Well, you know, we shoulda, woulda, coulda. I mean,
yeah.
You know, it's another thing about Wesley Blake. Tucker was, you know, a good wrestler. Wesley Blake, a good wrestler. I think they need to go back to, go to the independents and, you know, build that character. You know, don't go to the top three. You know, go to MLW, go to ROH, go to CZW. Do something to kind of find out where you're at.
Yeah.
And find out where your character is going to be and run with it. And
build the name not just on WWE.
And they know what they're doing. And they're going to do it. And you know, and I have faith in both of them that they're going to be great down the line. But you know, we're not going to know anything until, you know, mid-July anyway, because that's when you know, their 90-day clause is up anyway. So
I mean, we could speculate. We could sit here and say, like you are, I want to see this person here. I want to see them do that. I'm going to admit it, folks, this is more of us just ranting or getting it out there. I'm upset. I'm a little pissed about all these names.
I'm pissed, but I'm not shocked either.
Because let's go back to NXT TakeOver when Ember Moon made her return, and what all of us wanted those vignettes to be, we all were like, Bo Dallas, please do something with him. And of course, no. No offense to Ember Moon, she's awesome.
Well,
and then they kept Bo down.
Yeah.
He hadn't wrestled for what, a year?
Well, Bo got Marty Jannetty. With all due respect to Marty Jannetty, of course, Bray is his brother. Bray's one of the top stars right now. Bo's kind of, he was great with Kurt Axel, and they gave Curtis Axel the shaft. And then, that was pretty much it. We haven't seen or heard Bo Dallas since then. Now he's going to be getting into real estate, and he has a barn with Liv Morgan. So I think he won on that aspect.
In life, yeah.
He won in life, dude.
I'd want.
We waking up next to Liv Morgan every day.
Yeah.
Come on, bro, give me a break.
I'd want to see more of him. I loved his stuff in NXT. I don't know if it was him. This one was weird because I didn't know if it was him or how WWE did it. There was maybe a mix, but it didn't translate over to the main roster, in my opinion. But he was able to take dumb gimmicks, and I'm not saying that he made them spectacular, but he was able to do something with them and still be entertaining.
I sincerely hope he doesn't give up on the wrestling business. He has so much more to give. He's another guy I feel he should go to ROH or MLW. Or even Impact. It's he still has gas in the tank. He can still go and
I just realized something.
It's Curtis Axel, he hasn't wrestled since he got released from WWE. He's not.
You think maybe?
And it's man, he could have, well, maybe he's still better. I'm not really sure what Curtis Axel is doing, but man, I wish he would. He's such a great technical wrestler, and his second generation superstar, Kurt Hennig.
Bo.
It's man,
both of them.
They need to. Well, hopefully with Bo's release, hopefully they get back together, and because they're great together. They're fantastic together. They feed off each other, and they could be a great stable, man. They need to. Man, I really hope they can get back together and go to another promotion and knock it out of the park.
They were just futzing around with them, and that's what makes it sadder. You had all this time to do something with Bo. So many other superstars. Granted, Bo's getting paid, but I'm sure he's just I don't know. He's never said anything, at least to my knowledge.
Who's that?
Bo Dallas, about just sitting around getting paid, but I'm sure, I would hope, or I'm sure maybe
he's in the process of he's living on the farm with Liv Morgan, and he is starting a real estate business. Hopefully that's something that he's still doing, but I still want to see him wrestle. I still want to see. He has so much more left in the tank, and he just didn't get what he deserved from WWE.
Oh no, definitely. And I think he maybe, this is just assumption, that's why I was saying it, that maybe he's like Mike Kanellis, that I just don't want to sit around. I came here to wrestle.
I sure hope so, because now, the Kingdom made their comeback in ROH. Got Bennett and Matt Taven back together with Maria, and and Mike's going to be a huge star. He's going to be, eventually when it's all said and done, he's going to be an ROH World Champion. There's no doubt about it. He's,
Yeah, and Ring of Honor could use another good push. Because I
would love to see Curtis Axel and Bo Dallas in Ring of Honor. It'd be fantastic. Or MLW. It'd be great.
Yeah. In Ring of Honor, I stopped watching for a while, and I just don't know what it is. It just didn't keep my attention. Well, I love the people that are there, but there's just something that they need to change, or...
Well...
but that could be a different podcast. But let's go then to the biggest shocker, Samoa Joe.
Oh, we're not. Oh,
Wow.
Yeah, should we say that one for the main event and talk about Peyton and Billy, or you want to say that for last?
Well, no, we talked about Peyton and Billy.
Well,
Oh, you want to go more?
Not as much as I would like to.
Okay.
You know, because I mean, for me personally, I'm a big fan of both of them, and
all right, we'll pause on Joe. Yeah, back to them.
because I think we got lost in the shuffle. I think we were going to talk about them, and I think we got kind of lost in the shuffle.
Yeah, we briefly touched on it, but yeah, the Iconics again, another tag team that got better in NXT, and when it seemed like they were at their best, call up.
And they did well.
Oh yeah,
they won the tag team titles at WrestleMania. I mean, okay, this is good, and then lose the titles like a month later. And then like a couple months after that, and they break them up, and it's just like, you know, Payne is just such a solid wrestler, solid, and you know, Peyton has a technical wrestling ability and knows how to feed off of Billy, because Billy has so much charisma, so much knowledge of psychology of the wrestling business. Not really she's a good wrestler, but not as great of a wrestler as Peyton is.
yeah.
And so they feed off of each other, and they were the perfect combination. And I don't know, for some reason they felt like it was, you know, kind of like the Hollywood Blondes. Like, oh, they were supposed to be just a utility tag team. And then, you know, Austin and Film are like, fuck you, we're going to, you know, shoot the moon with this. And then they end up, you know, almost being the main event, being top draws, and then, of course, they break them up. You know, because, you know, politics and bullshit that happens in the wrestling business.
Which continues to happen, obviously.
And so I see the Iconics as, you know, the way, you know, how Bryan and Austin were treated as the Hollywood Blondes in WCW. They were kind of just like, you know, they're supposed to be used for something else, but they end up getting over, and, well, you're not supposed to get over here, we're just going to just, you know, break you apart. And then Kevin Dunn goes back to eating his, you know, wooden log with his buck teeth. You know, and so that one's a sad one for me. That one shocked and saddened me. It was just like, you know, it's like Billy came like, okay, what the fuck? And then like Payne Royce, I'm like, no! And I'm just like, you know, and of course, I think Derek, I'm not sure, is he brother or cousin or Derek?
Oh, he's on the Square Circle Rants.
Well, so he's like, page. No! It's like, yeah, like I said, no! Like, it shouldn't have happened. Like, you know, we're fans, dude. Like,
well, yeah, they complimented each other so well.
But now they're going to get over somewhere else, and then they're going to kick ass.
Oh yeah, I hope they stay together.
And then they're just going to be like, this is WWE, like na.
Well, yeah, and what, you know, that was another issue I believe we talked about before, and we'll talk about now. You know, so many teams split up. Why not? I mean, they couldn't do what the New Day does. I mean, and they were even eventually split up to where, hey, we're a team, but they can have singles careers. It's possible. You can make it different, but they didn't want to go that route. They'd rather split them up, toy around with them, get rid of them, which is, oh man.
Well, they didn't want to get. You know, the problem is they did not want them to get over enough to where they can be a face of the company. For some reason, they didn't see them as the face of the company because they weren't like a Charlotte or a Sasha Banks or a Becky Lynch or Bayley or I don't know.
Yeah.
I hope this new line of, you know, generation with Gonzalez and Belair and Ripley, but I really hope they stick with them and, you know, push them to the moon, and they don't get the shaft treatment like, you know, Billy and Peyton got. That's all I really got on that situation.
And I'm trying to word this. Even wrestlers still in the company were shocked and upset. Like
they're still shocked and upset.
Yeah, like even even Xavier Woods.
Yeah.
Had his what? Like, and I'm sure that's going to be a, you know, backstage argument with him, but if he's not the only one upset, I'm sure the rest of them are.
There's a lot of people still upset.
Like, well, what about...
I mean,
it makes everyone feel like, oh, I'm replaceable? What's the...
Well, I mean, that leaves Rhea Ripley the only Australian superstar on both main rosters.
Oh, true.
And she did a Twitter post with Heartbroken with Billy and Peyton being shown the door, which. Okay, can we do an episode of why Kevin Dunn still has a job? Can we please?
We will.
Maybe we can get on Maybe we can get on the Jim Cornette podcast, and because I know Jim Cornette doesn't like Kevin Dunn at all either. So.
Oh. You mean from his podcast?
Yeah.
Yeah, he definitely. And I mean, the more things go, he has a good reason to hate him. I'm starting not to, but yes, we'll have that. But so. Wow, I can barely talk. Let's get to Samoa Joe. No offense to the rest of them. That was the biggest shocker.
That was the shocker. I'm like, wow, really? Just a couple of years ago, you had him in the main event against Brock Lesnar for the Universal title. Now you're just going to let him go because he had a few injuries?
Yeah.
Really? Just concussions? Like, okay. Concussions. That's it, right? From what I understand, it was just concussions. Okay.
And that's a horrible thing.
It's a horrible thing because he didn't heal well enough for you or fast enough for you. Just going to just let him go, right? It's like, we don't. Vince does not see AEW as a threat. He doesn't. That's one of the reasons why he let Jericho go on the Stone Cold podcast, because he doesn't consider AEW as a threat. And so
now
I'm calling this right now. I'm seeing Joe go to AEW and team up with Team Taz and whoop some ass.
Well, yeah, and if AEW gives their shit together, they could be a threat. Right now,
well, they need to kill some. They need to kill some stables. I mean, they have way too many stables right now.
Too many stables. Some of their storylines are good. A lot of great matches, but it's a lot of their storylines just kind of fall. Which, heck, I just said you could have done that in WWE. Well, this is something different.
Well,
this is
the rosters. Just the overall.
Oh God, they got
the overall roster is just oversaturated, and they're becoming not becoming like WWE creatively. I'm saying they're becoming like WWE as far as a roster goes, because they're becoming oversaturated, and when you become oversaturated, then you lose ideas creatively, and that's what the problem WWE is having right now, and kind of what the situation with AEW is right now.
Well, yeah, you. Would where WWE, they shouldn't have fired anybody, but they have all the resources to make sure everybody.
Joe was amazing on commentary.
Gets a shot.
And it's like,
but AEW has too many people and not enough skilled, or they have the resources, but not the creative team.
Well,
yeah. But no, yeah, to Joe. God, he can go anywhere. AEW, back to Impact, back to Ring of Honor. I'm with you that AEW would be the better choice because he has a long legacy in Ring of Honor, long legacy in Impact.
He's done everything on Impact. He's already been an Impact champion. Him going back to Impact would be cool, but I like to see him in the AEW teaming up with Team Taz and being that second guy, and really just. I mean, he has that. I mean, him on Team Taz would be badass.
And heck, even
maybe they can kill some of the stables they got going on right now.
Oh God, please. I mean, even if God forbid we never see him wrestle again, I hope we do see him get back in the ring.
I don't know how bad his concussions are. I don't even know how bad his injuries are.
Well, yeah, but if God forbid he can never wrestle again, he's obviously great on commentary.
Yeah, I mean,
he was.
Well, I mean, God, he was just on the verge of like he was a couple months away from making a full comeback, and and they just pulled the carpet from under him and pulled the rug from under him. So
even Renee Young speaking up about that.
Well, yeah.
See if I can get the tweet here. Well,
she
I won't
said,
quote it verbatim, but she goes, essentially, injuries aside.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like why? Like and it's just.
He should have.
I think Kevin Dunn and Laurinaitis are like in bed together. I mean, it's really just.
And Laurinaitis is a shit excuse.
Yeah.
Well, budget cuts, bull. I mean, yes, you brought it up that last year that was their same excuse, but especially now, you're $1 billion company. You just sold the network to Peacock, and you have a partnership with Cameo, all these other places. You're telling me that you have to save your money?
Well, I mean, they didn't have any fans though, and that was a big part of their revenue.
True. But to go...
But with them, selling to Peacock, that should have been like, okay, we're good with money right now, because, what, $4.6 billion or whatever the hell they sold it for?
Yeah.
I mean, they sold it for an F-load of money.
And heck, who knows how much they make with their cameos. I know, God, I was checking out Kevin Owens. It was $500.
That's how much Flair's charging.
For a limited video, which would be awesome, but no offense, Mr. Owens, Steen, I'm not paying that much. I don't have the money.
I'll pay $500 for Flair.
But that, or I would imagine they make some money off of YouTube. Like maybe they have a deal there.
I don't know about their budget cuts. I think it's just a bullshit excuse for them just to let people go, just like they did last year. They had COVID come into play, and of course they released 3 times the amount of people last year than they did this year.
And that's not to cut you off. That's
the bottom line is the bottom line is they didn't have anything for them creatively.
Yeah, that, and to do this again while we're still, like, we got vaccines, thank God, but we're still trying to get back to normal-ish. And yeah, I was about to say it seems like, no, this flat out tells us they don't care. You can say it however you want it. Well, they had this reason. No, they flat out don't care. If they don't like you, bye. And I love WWE. I've been watching WWE since I was a little kid. I'll probably continue to watch it. But you can't expect us to be happy with what you're doing. Heck, I'll go as far to say NXT needs to break from WWE. Be its own. That would shake things up in the family, I'm sure. Or at the very least, Vince McMahon. Of course, we appreciate what you've created. Come on, it's WWE. Even the people who have been screwed over by WWE will admit it's the top brand. It's the show, or you know what I mean, show of shows. But Vince needs to step down.
We're all waiting for the day where Triple H takes over.
Yeah, I mean,
It's gonna be Triple H. It's gonna be Steph. It's gonna be Shane. They're all gonna be coinciding together, and it's gonna be incredible. I hope.
Yeah,
and I hope they give Kevin Dunn the big boot and the big leg, and throw him over the top rope.
Because man, yes, you're $1 billion company, or as Punkwood said, you're going to make money despite yourself. But how do you expect to keep going when you keep doing this? You're going to get to a point that no one wants to come to you. I'm not saying that's going to happen anytime soon.
Oh.
And they do a lot of good things. I'm getting emotional, I admit. I'm sorry.
They're killing the overall aura of the definition of a wrestling fan. A wrestling fan that knows the business, a wrestling fan that knows the product. They don't want us anymore to be a part of that WWE. They don't want us to be a part of that no more, because then that will be like, oh well, we don't want you. We want the the little kids. Yay,
The new money.
yeah, yay, we don't care who you get, like they don't pay attention. Like these little kids that come in, they don't pay attention to who gets released and who doesn't, and they can really care less who gets the boot.
And I'll give them, yes, WWE is trying to have all demographics in a way. They're appealing, and I get that. But you can't forget the people that actually invest and have watched this. Yeah, times change and things evolve. This is not an evolution. This is backtracking really badly. AEW could evolve. They could get better.
Well, they need
Impact could get way better.
Well, Impact's probably, in my opinion, the only one that's really moving forward right now. And this is why. They're allowing AEW to work with them, and this thing that's going on with Kenny Omega, and it's going to be huge.
Yeah.
Impact doesn't have the problem with the oversaturated talent like AEW and WWE has, and so therefore it gives them a little bit more ideas. I've watched Impact, and I like their storylines and stuff like that, and it's actually somewhat better than AEW. AEW has good storylines too.
Some, yeah.
Yeah, some.
I'll give them some.
WWE has maybe one good storyline out of the NXT.
I keep that separate.
But I'm talking about the main roster.
Yeah.
Like SmackDown has a good storyline, one good storyline. Raw's kind of.
They're
so.
They're doing good with Drew, Lashley. It's a little wonky. My favorite, of course, because I love him, Bray Wyatt, Alexa Bliss. Look at Bray. How he's evolved, and he's had to. Because they gave up on him.
Why he lost at WrestleMania is beyond me.
Yeah, that's another thing. But early Bray Wyatt.
But there better be a reason why
gave
he
up
lost.
on him. Then they brought him back, and he's shown that, look what I can do. I'm not going to say he's a great technical wrestler, but he's good. He's a very, I would say, what would you call it, a smash mouth type?
No, he has that, mix between Mick Foley and The Undertaker. He has that aura about him.
Yeah.
Which is great, which is rare right now with everything that's going on in the wrestling business.
Yeah, which is why at WrestleMania, I was like, even my mom, who was watching it with me, went, what? Why would they have him lose? And what is she doing? But then on Raw, kind of made up for it.
Okay, there better be a good storyline with this. There better be something good.
Yeah.
The reason why that, he lost.
Like, who's going to be...
And I'm guessing...
standing up for Alexa, because she's not going to face Bray on her own.
Right. I want to say Aleister Black. But isn't he on SmackDown?
God, it's been so long. Did he move to SmackDown?
I have no idea. I thought he was on SmackDown, but I would like to see if Alexa, because I was thinking, okay, Alexa Bliss has black all over her face, Aleister Black. And so I'm thinking, like, black all over,
and there's
Aleister Black, like
rumors that he's coming back.
I would love to see Aleister Black and The Fiend go at it. That'd be an awesome feud. With Orton's going to be off of TV for a while and taking a sabbatical, so that's going to be good for some other guys to get over and stuff. So.
Oh, and I'm surprised Aleister didn't ask for his release. Like, he asked to go back to NXT. They said no. Andrade, he was denied, but they brought him back.
Sorry.
He was denied, and then they gave him his release.
Well, they gave Andrade his release on one condition.
I didn't hear that.
Charlotte won't wrestle at WrestleMania. This is why she never wrestled.
Oy.
And she could say COVID, she could say pregnancy, whatever. If what can I do to get Andrade released? Okay, well, you don't wrestle WrestleMania. Boom, he's released. Boom, Charlotte's not on. All of a sudden, Charlotte's not on WrestleMania, not on the card at all. Period.
Yeah, but I bring that up because, like with Andrade, or even Alistair, if he feels this way, but I will say he has not publicly said anything like that. Don't take that as a rumor I'm starting. But no, or even Mike Kanellis. Like I would say, if they don't want to be, if you're not going to use them, I agree. Okay, get rid of them. But what I'm upset about, and I tweeted this, was that should motivate you to use them.
Well, as soon as Lena Vega got released, I was thinking, Black's going to be next, because of course, he's married to, Zelina and lucky bastard. And, but they held on to him. It has the storyline going on, and there's something going on with him. So, cool. I guess they're going to revert back to his childhood and kind of incorporate that into his character and storyline and stuff like that. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, hopefully something good.
Hopefully. Hopefully it's not one of those, Mojo Rawley things where, they did all these vignettes and stuff like that, and then, and then they shit the bed with him, and then he gets released. So.
All right, guys. Well, we said it all. We got it out. If you want to talk more about this, join our Facebook page, Squared Circle Rants. We love you for listening to the podcast. If you really love it, please share it. That helps us out so much. Check out our YouTube, where we try to post videos when we can. And yeah, sorry, I'm a little down now. It's kind of down my mood.
Well, I know, man. I think our voices are kind of shot because of us talking with so much passion of what's been going on. But hopefully it's for the better. But like I said, we won't know for another 90 days.
No, but we'll keep you posted best we can. Come rant with us on Facebook, Twitter. Well, I'm on Twitter, RC_awesome. I do wrestling rants there and other weird stuff. Mostly rant on the Facebook page here, YouTube. Come check us out. RC Gade Mr. Awesome.
And Debonair Douglas.
All right. Love you guys. Hang in there.
See